You are watching a multi-part series, and this is Chapter 8. So if you want to start with Chapter 1, click right here. Chapter 8, Precursors. I remember when Hooper and I first had the idea to begin our search for the American dream. We had been friends for quite a long time and kept in near constant communication. Hooper is a person that can't stay in one place for too long. He doesn't like to plant roots. He prefers to keep on the move when he can, and he doesn't like being bored. He's lived all over the place. Parks, cars, trucks, girlfriends' houses, ex-girlfriends' houses, spare couches, rest stops, hotels, and casino floors. For Hooper, home is wherever he happens to be at the time. It takes a certain kind of person to live a nomadic lifestyle, and Hooper is exactly that kind of person. He would feel as comfortable with a six-figure income in the suburbs as he would subsisting on wild berries and rolled oats somewhere far off in Appalachia. He's ready for whatever comes his way, and that's probably why I looked up to him so much. He was always ready to go at a moment's notice, and all I ever did was talk about going. Hooper was a man of continuous action, and I a man of limitless determination. The combination was a personality tornado that wrought havoc wherever it showed its wicked face. He was in town to complete another page in his list of actionable items that he had labeled Operation Michigan Liberation. He had business in several areas of the state that he had lived in. Bills unpaid, years-old parking tickets, old roommates storing his possessions, and family to visit. Anytime he found his way back to the Mitt, he would find time to stop by my place as well. We walked to a party not too far away from my house, where a few of our mutual friends were celebrating the first nice day of spring. There were a few kegs, a potluck buffet, a pair of beat-up guitars, and a yard full of camp chairs. Among our less ambitious friends, we decided that Kalamazoo was beginning to feel a little bit claustrophobic. Nothing but the same people running along the same ruts, all wishing they could make a change, too afraid to manifest it. We walked back to my house, trying to figure out what we could do to calm the storm rising within us. Within an hour, we were packing up what we deemed necessary to find the dream in the back of my car and howling down the highway at top speed. We brought an acoustic guitar, 3 packs of cigarettes, a 1/4 ounce of grass, a large jar full of change for tolls and vending machines, a handheld recorder I never bothered to turn on, and a change of clothes each. We headed west from Kalamazoo on Interstate 94 toward Chicago, thinking we might find something there. We really didn't know what we were looking for, where we were going, or even why we had left. We just felt strongly that we needed to go somewhere that night, and so we did. We were the type of people that did those sorts of things. The things you always talked about doing and never did. Sometimes it isn't enough just to dream things, so you have to reach out and make them a reality. When you go out looking for the dream, it finds you. They tell you to reach for the stars. You have to take the star from the sky and make it your own. As we drove, we held conversation in our normal manner. To most, the thought would never occur that we would be friends. All we ever did was insult and demean each other, all while screaming and making frantic gestures. Truth is, though, Hooper and I were indeed very good friends. That's just how we spoke to each other. It's fun to yell, and finding intelligent and diabolical ways to insult each other shows that you know enough about your friends to hit them where it hurts. Our primary objective was determined nearing Gary, Indiana. Fuck, man, Gary looks worse every time I see it. You should live there. Then people couldn't smell you. Take a shower, hippie, he said, putting his arm out the window to let it fly in the wind. The American dream must have left this place for greener pastures. Maybe it was China, I said. Fuck the American dream. Why do you say that? I swerved the car a bit, reacting honestly. The American dream was a fucking billboard, man. A fantasy. Fool's gold. Some dumb play on words. Great experiment, my ass. Look around you. How many potholes have you hit? I swerved to miss a serendipitous pothole. So the American dream is dead just because there's potholes? Great experiment? Isn't that what this is supposed to be? How can you say it's a bad thing? Do you want to be part of an experiment? I am! I'm part of my own experiment, Hoop. My own great dream. It started when I was born and continues to my death. So are you. Life is a social experiment. Fuck you. Your life is a failed experiment. They should have shot you in the fucking lab. They'll regret it soon enough. You don't understand the big picture. You don't understand they're selling you this white picket fence crap. You're falling for it hook, line, and sinker. White picket fence crap? So maybe your dream doesn't have a fenced acre. The white picket fence thing is a metaphor, stupid. It represents well-defined borders and security. Surely the American dream hasn't fallen so far from your sight, you drunken idiot. Fallen? You're the one that's defending an antiquated notion of manifest destiny that you and I both know miserably failed. What failed? We still stretch from sea to shining sea, my friend. The U.S. could still be considered a hegemon. China's nipping at our heels. Fuck China. There's room for us both. Hegemony is as much an antiquated notion as manifest destiny. No one's gotta be the best. There's only one Earth, man. We're all stuck here whether we like it or not. Fuck China? They own all of your debt. All of your credit cards. Your auto loan, man. Even my fucking student loans. It's all gonna be in yuan in 10 years. You've lost your mind, Hooper. You say look around, and I say it right back to you. So this is Gary. This is where industry used to be. This may not be the future, but it's still a huge part of our past. It's still the dream, just an old dream that refuses to die. So it's not yours, and it isn't mine either, but that doesn't mean it wasn't someone's at some time. Who are you to shit on someone else's dreams? Who dreams of waking up in this fuck nest of misery and loathing? Someone does, man. You wake up under park benches sometimes. Hell, we've both seen the darker side of the fuck nest. I'm sure some people would take issue with living the way we find comfortable. It's a good point, asshole. Thanks, dickhat. The topic had turned to the American dream. What is it? Or maybe, what was it? How many times have you heard that phrase uttered in your life as a citizen? Thousands? What does it mean? Who first said it? Hooper was on top of these things, as usual. He didn't even know I was thinking about it when he said. But still, listen. James Truslow Adams was a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant East Coast elitist douchebag. So were all the founding fathers and pretty much anybody in our American history books until like 1850, man. Remember? It's the American dream. Back then, America wasn't anything except the East Coast. It's the cumulative dream of everybody that lives here now and has lived here before. We make our dreams the reality, man. That's what this is all about. There is no fucking way that you are going to convince me that holding on to some stupid fantasy of a ladder to self-propagated success is going to pan out for you in the long run. Do you have any other choice than to believe in it, Hooper? Isn't that what you want from life? Don't you want to be better off 5 years from now? Aren't you sick of sleeping in your truck and trying to find a job wherever you move to? Don't you wish you could just pack up and leave whenever you wanted and know that anywhere in America there were jobs to be had, friends to be made, and good times to be had? Isn't that already the case? Why don't you tell me? How long did it take you to get that gig in Virginia? 3 months? How many places did you have to apply to and interview with in order to finally land that one job? Yeah, so what? I still found one, didn't I? I know how to take care of myself. I didn't dream about learning how. I did it. We're not talking about physical things here, Hooper. We're talking about a concept, an idea, a potential. We're talking about fucking the breath of life in the blowhole. We're talking about the potential for greatness in every new idea. Individual greatness, collective greatness, technological greatness, and maybe even humanitarian greatness. Now you're really dreaming. You're a stupid utopian idealist. You're just gonna disappoint yourself if you keep thinking about that sort of dream. You're not Willy Wonka, man. I'm not saying we live in it now. I'm not saying we're ever gonna find it. I'm saying it's the search for the ideal that we have to value. It's the fucking meat of the experience, man. The ideals in the pursuit of a better tomorrow. That's why I get up in the morning, Hooper. That's why I put my pants on and brush my teeth and walk around the neighborhood. This world is so fucking big, it's so complex, and it's so goddamn beautiful. I can't imagine not wanting to maximize the experience. I'm not a pessimist, man, and I'm not a realist. I'm not an optimist, and I'm not a fucking dreamer. I just know I want a better tomorrow to finally come, someday, even just once. No matter how hard I have to work for it. And when the fucking sun shines brightest on me, that's when we'll know I've found it. We pulled up to a toll booth in Portage, Indiana, to get on the Skyway going into Chicago. Before I could count the quarters I had grabbed in a handful from the jar, Hooper was leaning over me and yelling at the toll booth operator. "Lady. Hey, lady. Lady. Hey. Hey, lady." "What?" she said, with the least interest possible. "Listen, me and my buddy here are looking for the American dream. You know where we might be able to find it?" She never broke face, but you could see a faraway twinkle in that eye. She knew the dream. She knew what we were talking about. She might not be dreaming it anymore, or maybe she's dreaming it now more than ever. She knew what we were talking about. She knew. "It isn't here. 75 cents, please." Cop out. I couldn't decide if I needed to laugh at the robot or cry with the forlorn. Had she given up? Was it a lost cause after all? Was Hooper right? Was the dream some sort of vicious delusion I was only starting to tear the curtain away from? We turned off the highway just south of the loop, parking the car at a gas station to refuel and acquire heavily caffeinated drinks. We walked into the place with the fluorescent lighting that made everything seem like we were on a movie set. We selected our beverages and went to pay the cashier. "Mister, I have a question for you," Hooper said to the bearded man behind the counter. "Oh, yeah?" The man did not seem pleased. "My friend and I here are looking for the American dream. Can you tell me, is it around here anywhere?" "Hell no." "Well, you seem to have some sort of grip on what it is, sir, don't you?" "Yeah, and it ain't here. I know that much. 1018. Got any gas?" Damn, he'd gotten me again. 2 in a row. Maybe the American dream was dead. We couldn't know for sure, not yet. We had to continue on, through the night, through the city. We had to go on until someone, anyone, could tell us where it was. Hooper was intent on proving me stupid. I was intent on proving that hope for a better tomorrow wasn't lost on an entire country. Big dreams on the lonely road. We bought our energy drinks and we gassed up, and we continued north through the city, eventually getting back on the highway and continuing to the Wisconsin state line. We stopped, again, for a bathroom break. For some reason, I kept insisting that we needed to take a careful inventory in order to maximize our potential. We had entered a different state of the Union and a different state of consciousness by the time we reached Milwaukee. We stopped again for a bathroom break, and we asked the clerk at the gas station the same question. I was becoming bold enough, and I asked this time. "Excuse me, miss. My friend and I here have driven all the way from Kalamazoo, Michigan, to ask you a question." "Me?" she said, looking very confused. "Sure, why not? Are you ready?" "If you drove all this way, sure, I guess. Go ahead. Shoot." "Do you know what the American dream is?" When she didn't immediately answer, I knew I had found our prize. She had the look. "It's the hope for a better tomorrow." I turned to Hooper. "You see, we found it after all. It isn't a thing you have or a place you go. It's a state of mind, right?" I looked at her name tag. Carol. Then I looked right at her face. "Right, Carol?" I kind of wanted to hug her in her stained cashier's vest and plant a kiss right on old lonely Carol's cheek. "Sure. Yeah. Yes, you're right. It's a state of mind." She seemed proud of herself. She smiled after she spoke, as if she had conquered her own self-doubt in that moment. It was a confident smile. She had passed a test. "Have you found the American dream at this gas station in Milwaukee, Carol?" said Hooper with astonishing disdain. "No, but I'm always dreaming it. I'll find it someday. She looked at Hooper like he was trying to tear her heart from her chest. I wanted to say something to balance Hooper's gnarled sense of humor, so I said, "Keep your dreams alive, Carol. Never give up hope. There's a great big world out there for all of us. We just have to make it happen." I was satisfied. We could turn back now. We had found what we needed to find. We just wanted to hear someone else say it in order to know that we hadn't lost touch completely. We had to hear a stranger tell us what we wanted to hear. We had to know that there were other people living lives far away from us, lives that were just as full of joy and pain as ours were, just as full of tumult and change, of longing and of regret, of missed opportunities and of false starts. Someone who dreamed the dreams of fame and fortune while sucking on the teat of the minimum wage gas station runt cow. That is the American dream. We drove back home less anxious and upset about the assumed lack of opportunities in our hometown. We drove home confident that the dream was out there, and we drove home with a new determination to find it. We surely didn't know what we'd do when we found it, but we needed to make our dream a reality. We wanted to find satisfaction. We wanted to find a sense of purpose. We needed a mission in life. Growing old and dying wasn't going to be enough for us. We had to do something. Anything but sit around and complain about our lives without doing anything to change them. I would have driven all the way to California asking random people about the dream until I heard someone say it. You can be damn sure of that. I couldn't stand to just sit idly by and try to legitimize the idiots around me succumbing to this moronic plague of lost hope. People all over the country were growing belligerently frustrated with their lives. Instead of trying to do something about it, they relegated it to fate and disavowed themselves from the pursuit of happiness. I needed to hear someone tell me they hadn't given up on the dream. I wanted to believe in it. We had to look hard to find it out there because so many find it easier to give up on hope than keep on dreaming. But if you look hard enough, if you keep turning the next corner and going the extra mile, you'll find the dream alive just the same. You will see it in the faces of others who have struggled just as hard as you, longing for a message from the universe that never came. It's a great big world out there, and those of us who know, we know all it takes is a dream, a passion, and boundless determination. So hey, this is the halfway point, and I just wanted to thank everybody who's paying attention and keeping an eye on the channel. This is the end of part 2, the line, and we're gonna move into part 3, the sinker. And this is the part where Borderline Vagabond is confronted with the American dream and actually has to make his decision as to whether or not he's going to stay in North Carolina with Jasmine and Hooper and try to march on through and build a new life for himself, or if he's going to go back to the Mitt and sort of re-examine his options and fully actualize his life. So this precursor section is really a good way to end the second part. Obviously, you might have caught on to the hook, the line, and the sinker. So the hook is the strip club. You know, we're hooking you into the concept of the American dream. And then the line is my laying out of what I believe the American dream is. And then, of course, the sinker is my closing arguments. So I'm really looking forward to talking to people about the American dream and their own personal pursuit of it. And I would really appreciate any comments that you have, any suggestions about the book, because obviously it's not fully 100% done yet. I've got a little bit of work editing as I go along here, so you know, I'm just looking for a little bit of constructive criticism. And I do have to thank one person by name, Young Master Weston Corbett. Thank you for all of your very helpful information and for diligently following this. I really appreciate it, man. No joke at all. A lot of people have really dismissed this book without really giving it a chance, or without sort of understanding the premise. And I just really appreciate the fact that you figured it out right away, and you're so willing to really analyze this book. So, shout outs to you, Mr. Corbett. You're fucking awesome. Keep on fighting the good fight. I'll see you all soon.